Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and to our witnesses for being here. Ms. Bowers, I'll direct my questions to you in your leadership role at the CMHC. On your website, it quotes that your goal and the reason that you're there, quote, is to exist for a single reason, to make housing affordable for everyone in Canada. I don't need to go through what the statistics are over the course of the last couple of years. In my neck of the woods in Eastern Ontario, housing prices have doubled in the last 5 years. In the last year, we've seen an increase of about 26%. More people than ever before are discouraged into the market and actually have given up on home ownership entirely. At the same time, your organization gave out in 2020 and 2021 $48 million in performance bonuses to your staff. That averaged $12,000 for each employee. 94% of employees received a bonus. I think many Canadians seeing that will be very frustrated that for an organization that's mandated with affordable housing, seeing the report that was issued from the Auditor General 15 months ago about performance issues, delays, and actually keeping to commitments that have been made by the government in your organization, there would rightfully be a lot of frustration there. And I know even some partner municipalities in my region continue to be frustrated with the application process, the delays, and some of the extra red tape and extra things that are required to get a simple approval on an application to even build affordable housing in our region. I want to ask you this from a change management perspective. You've had 15 months to reflect on the Auditor General's report that concludes, unfortunately, with CMHC, a lot of what we see in other departments. Spending money is not a result, and actually when money is being spent, there's actually less results being achieved. I won't ask you to detail perhaps the $48 million and how it's done, but since the last Auditor General's report, concluding quite a damning performance issues, delays, and processes, could you advise me in your management role in working with the Minister if you've made any single changes to how performance bonuses are issued within your department and organization?
Thank you very much for that question. As I mentioned earlier, CMHC is very committed to a continual improvement in our processes, and we have made significant improvements to improve the client experience. And again, I would, if there are any specific concerns that you have from proponents in your writing, very happy to respond to those on a one-by-one basis. We continue to improve our processes of the application timelines. We try to establish very good relationships with proponents on the ground to make sure that their needs are addressed in an expeditious manner, and always very happy to respond to any specific questions on individual projects that exist. On the subject of CMHC's compensation philosophy, CMHC runs a government appropriations operation, but also we have a commercial business where we compete with private sector competitors. We're very conscious that we need to manage our expenses in line with government guidelines, and on an annual basis, we conduct benchmarking to ensure that our compensation is aligned with peer institutions in the private sector as well as the public sector. So I'm quite comfortable that the level of compensation that we provide is reasonable, taking into consideration the need to make sure that we conserve taxpayer resources, but at the same time that it's sufficient to attract employees, because we have a very important role in providing services to Canadians.
About a minute left here. I'll take that as a no, that there haven't been any changes since the Auditor General's report, and I'll just respectfully note that there is a difference between compensation of employees and performance bonusing. And what I would argue to you is, after particularly the Auditor General's report and conclusions at a macro level, I appreciate the offer to look at any specific inquiries, but the Auditor General's report itself speaks to several delays and process issues, data transparency and so forth, and those changes. So perhaps not changing the base compensation, but how performance bonuses are awarded. That, and I'll just use as an example in your opening comment that we were able to hear you deliver, is that you collaborate to commit to build more new units. If you were tying the performance bonus in with actually delivering results, I think we can get a better result. And I'll leave that at that unfortunately, we're not seeing change in terms of those issues of where performance bonus should be tied to results, and perhaps that may achieve some better results. So
Thank you, Mr.
continue
Duncan.
to follow up on that.
Thank you.